Hello everyone, welcome to this video where I'm going to walk through the faculty evaluation instruments, kind of show you how they're meant to be used and where this all started from in the first place. So let's go ahead and get started and take a look at the source document and what brought this all about. More than a year ago, but it was brought to us at the beginning of the summer or right about that time. Patty requested that we get a faculty group together, and we did. And that faculty group consisted of myself, Quentin Moore, and Dr. Kim Watson, and we worked on it over the summer in various configurations, and this was the ultimate end of that work product. We wanted to make sure we simplified things, and that's really what we did over the summer. I think it became very clear to us pretty quickly on what was required. It was just putting that into a format that could be used by anybody as they're vetting qualifications for faculty and teaching in the various courses that they teach in. So let's take a look at the beginning. So here we got the Higher Learning Commission guideline document. And this is the one that you'll want to, I would say, please read at least once, read through that. It basically tells us why we're doing what we're doing. Again, what had happened over the past few years is the Higher Learning Commission has been working on a set of guidelines for determining qualified faculty. And they finally, political processes as they are, finally did, and they came out with a deadline. And that was the scary part, was the deadline. And you'll see it right here. September 1st of 2017, institutions, we'll see the deadline was also extended extended the date of compliance to September 1st, 2017 to allow institutions time to work through the details of the requirements and to bring their faculty into compliance through individual professional development plans. Well, what does that mean? That means if we didn't have any faculty who are going to no longer be qualified to teach, we would have had them working through development plans at this point to get them qualified to teach. I think the good news is I don't think we're going to have anybody in this area. We took a survey kind of individuals, and I think we're good in this area because the time is quite limited, to be frank, to get anybody to any kind of professional development plan if we did find anybody. But I guess if we did find someone, they have almost a year to become a qualified faculty member. And as you read this document, there's a lot of information on how they interpret or guide you in interpreting what a qualified faculty member is. There is a section on dual credit in here. It really doesn't apply to us. But again, feel free to read this document. Now, what we've done to help you, sorry for the scrolling here. We'll go back up. What we've done to help you is to put some, I guess, lack of a better word, footnotes in there. They may not be exactly proper form footnotes, but they guide you directly back to this document. So whenever we state something, that you'll see in just a moment in these instruments, you'll see exactly why we did it and where we got it from the document, kind of what gave us the authority to do that. All right, so let's start off with, we have 3 instruments, and they're for the 3 areas. There's really, I guess, 4 areas the Higher Learning Commission has where you have these faculty qualifications coming into place. And I'll briefly highlight them for you. The first one is what they call professional certificates and professional technical associate degree programs. All right, that's what we do at Mercy College, everything from associate degree down through the credit certificates. So this is why it was really important for us on the allied health side to get this worked out. We wanted to make sure that we knew what the impact was. The next category is baccalaureate programs. Okay, if you're teaching in a bachelor's program, okay, that's the key distinction, a program. And then the next one is general education coursework, kind of the everything else qualifications. That's actually the most easiest one of all 4 of them. And then the last one is graduate education, which we will let the graduate group bring that through at a later date with their rubric. So I guess stay tuned on what they're going to do. All right, well, let's take a look at some of these instruments, and let's start off with the certificate one. This is if you notice in here, so as you follow through the document, the red section is the bucket that we're looking at, or the classification. And this particular classification for courses and programs is Career and Technical Education College Level Certificate and Occupational Associate Degree Programs, footnote 2. So we're not making up this category. This is actually coming from the Higher Learning Commission. And this is a very interesting category. So I guess I'm starting with the lower rung academically, but this is probably the more interesting of the three. So the way that the checklist works is you simply just kind of read through a qualification checklist. Number 1, academic credentials, qualifying factor. Candidate must have one of the following qualifying factors. No ifs, ands, or buts in this particular area. They must have one of these, either a bachelor's degree or higher in the field in which they're to teach, and they're allowed to have this, an unrelated bachelor's or higher degree, and 18 credit hours in the discipline that they're to teach in. So if you met one of those two, you're good to go. You're qualified faculty. Move on. But what if you don't? Oh no, I don't. I have my bachelor's degree is in medieval history, and I'm doing medical imaging or rad tech. Can I still teach? Well, yes. The Higher Learning Commission does say that you can still teach if you haven't met this qualifying factor 1. So if the candidate does not qualify under qualifying factor 1, qualifying factor 2 should be used. And here we have education, training, and or tested experience. So as you read that HLC document, it does allow for individuals who have this great experience but may not have the educational credentials. And what the HLC wants is they want a defined process on how we are going to determine that. Not just it can't be, it has to be, very objective as far as how we're going to do this. And I think we've pretty much defined it pretty clearly on what we consider these combinations. So I think of it like a scale. You can be experience rich and kind of education poor, or a combination of the two. I think this document allows for that. Again, and because the Higher Learning Commission does explicitly recognize that this is the case, again, especially for these career technical education college level certificates and occupational associate degree programs. So that's all of our 4-credit certificates here at Mercy College and all of our associate degree programs, excluding the general ed program. So you must have one of the two qualifying factors. So you have a relevant qualifying professional credential, and that will be left up to the discipline to determine what that is. There are certain credentials that are nationally recognized in each one of these, areas that we have here at the college. So we have the relevant qualifying professional credential. We also have a category 60 months or more of professional experience. Again, this is allowed. Now, where we had to come up with is the number of years of experience. We felt 60 months was good. 2 years, a little too light. 5 years, pretty good when you think about it, a professional experience. So we think that's a good base to have is 5 years. Or you can have a professional certificate, a diploma, or associate's degree in discipline in which they are to teach. So again, you only have to have 2 of these 3, and that fulfills the kind of the balance of the equation, whether it's education, whether it's experience, whether it's professional credentialing, which is kind of like, professional credentialing is sort of like experience on steroids. So you can have a combination of these 3 And we wanted to make sure that we had people who maybe have a ton of experience but maybe didn't get the professional credentialing, that they're still able to teach. Again, using a combination and a systematic method here, which is what we have. So take a look at the footnotes. They kind of guide you and where to go. We do give some further definitions here, like on the relevant qualifying credentials will be those generally recognized by the discipline in which a faculty member would be teaching. And then what is professional experience? So that's professional experience should be the breadth and depth of experience outside of the classroom in real-world situations relevant to the discipline in which the faculty member would teach. We lifted that directly from the Higher Learning Commission, so we didn't come up with that one. They gave it to us. So that is how this document is used. You can either qualify under Roman numeral 1 and be done with it, or that's basically the education traditional pathway, or you can qualify under Roman numeral 2, and that's where this combination of education, experience, certifications all comes into play. And that is how you use the evaluation instrument for this category. I'll just scan over here to the last page where we list some of those kind of those footnotes in there that help guide you through that document. All of these come from that first document, which will also be attached in the email that went out. So we can take a look at that and follow along and see where we actually got this stuff from. All right, let's take a look at the next one. The other ones will go relatively quickly. Okay, so let's take a look at bachelor degree programs. Here is the difference. It's a program, not a general education baccalaureate level course. So this would be our medical imaging program, our healthcare administration program, and even our BSN program. So any of our bachelor's programs here at the college, program oriented. And again, we do have the two-step situation in here, kind of the pure academic credentialing, so you can qualify in area 1, which is academic credentials. Candidate must have one of the following. Language is going to look very similar. Relevant academic degree, 1 level above or higher of the program in which they are to teach. So there is that master's degree would obviously kick in because you're teaching in a baccalaureate program. So you're going to be at a master's level. Then you could have the unrelated master's degree or higher, but then as long as you have 18 graduate credit hours related to the discipline, you can qualify in the pure academic sense. Now, you are allowed to, again, in programs only, to use these other qualifying factors. So I got this, this little statement here. If the candidate doesn't qualify under, qualifying factor 1, qualifying factor 2 should be used. Again, this is kind of going to that mix of the two. So in this case, the candidate must have, this is hardwired. We cannot, in this category, we cannot have that situation where someone who has maybe just a certificate teaching. It is mandatory that the candidate must have an unrelated master's degree, one or more of the following, and one or more of the following qualifying factors. So, Chris, why do you have candidate must have an unrelated master's degree? That doesn't make sense. Well, if they had a related master's degree, you would have qualified under in Roman numeral 1 under academic credentials. So we know that if you didn't make the pass in Roman numeral 1, you must have you have a master's degree, but it's not related to what you're teaching. So and you don't have the 18 graduate credit hours. So for whatever reasons you didn't pass through here, and you made it down to here. So you're going to have at least a master's degree, but you don't have the 18 hours of graduate education in that discipline in addition to the unrelated master's degree. So we have, you have relevant qualifying professional credentials, which again we kind of defined before, or 60 months or more of professional experience, which again, very similar to that other document. So again, we're allowed to use that mix of education and experience and certification, but this category, the Higher Learning Commission is very specific. We cannot have a degree below or equal. They have to be a degree above what they're teaching. It can be unrelated, but they have to have at least a master's degree in this case, so in something, anything. And then some other qualifying factors as well, which we just talked about. All right, so that is the bachelor's degree program. Let's go on to the easiest of the bunch, which is the courses and programs. Here's our category: courses and programs, general education or other non-occupational courses. Again, we didn't make this up. That comes directly from that Higher Learning Commission document, and they're pretty cut and dry. When you're teaching that general ed or that non-occupational courses, it is the academic qualifying factors only. So you can have a master's degree or higher in the discipline or subfield. Okay, check. That one's obvious. And then you can still have the unrelated master's degree or higher and a minimum of 18 graduate credit hours in the discipline or subfield of which they teach. So it does allow them to, maybe pick up a graduate certificate in something and be able to teach an entirely, unrelated discipline to their primary discipline. So it's kind of an interesting twist. But again, that's the number of credit hours. That's all driven. That 18 graduate credit hours, that is driven directly from the Higher Learning Commission. Now, so there's a quick walkthrough of the three. I'm sorry, in about the 16 minutes here. Remember that these are the minimum requirements. Let me go back real quickly here, and I'll just pull up the bachelor's one. We do have a note in here that, let's see here. I put a note, the group put a note in here that the candidate must satisfy either qualifying factor or factors, one or two, either or. And the unique programmatic standards, basically accreditation, may require additional qualifications exceeding the defined criteria. So nurses, relax. This is you could have obviously more requirements on top of this. This is basically to meet HLC's thresholds. If we do that, then we're fine. Of course, you can go above and beyond for your programs. Medical imaging, HCA, nursing, you can definitely go above and beyond. So, and those will not interfere with this one. So there we go. There's kind of the walkthrough. So let's go over some of the dates real quickly here. So we've got, we're going to have this open for open commentary until, until October 3rd. And then after that, I'm going to get out finalized documents. We'll meet together, the faculty development group. We'll meet together again. If there's any tweaks, changes, what have you, then we'll have finalized documents for your review on October 7th. And then we would like those voted on by the entire faculty body on our next meeting, which is October 31st. So again, please, the next couple weeks, read these over. Let me know if you have any comments. You could send them either to myself, or I would say at least send them to myself, but you can also address either Quentin Moore or Dr. Kim Watson, and we are going to be getting together and looking if there's any changes. I think it's all pretty cut and dry as far as what the Higher Learning Commission wants. Once you read the document, I think it's pretty much all out there. But maybe there's something we didn't think about. So we wanted to make sure that you all had some time to digest this and have post-open commentary. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching my Faculty Instruments walkthrough.